Welcome back, everyone, to what I suspect will actually be a somewhat quick video. I got a special request in the comments section from SpeakingMinds to do Orks versus Starcraft 2. So essentially this is Orks versus the Koprulu sector. Now, when I do this, this is going to be the entire faction of 40k Orks, not just one tribe. However, even with just one tribe, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. So, let's talk about a couple important numbers here, okay? Number one, the most I could figure as far as habited planets in the Koprulu sector at its peak was approximately anywhere from 50 to about 70. Now, let's highball that number. Let's say 100 to 150 habitable or habited planets. Alright, cool. Yeah. If the entire faction of Orks decided one day, we just want to fight. Them blue boys looks kind of fun. And they go to the realms of Ultramar. And I again say, the entire fucking Orc faction, even with the Ultramarines and their successor chapters defending the realms of Ultramar, they are going to do a lot of damage to at least half of it, if not all of it. In fact, the only thing I could see being, honestly, a real deterrent would be, unfortunately, Rabute Gilliman, because, well, fucking Primarch. But, even if you leave him in, he's still not, I don't even think, I could see them stopping them after maybe about 250, 300 planets. Or at least slowing them down. But here's the thing, there's only one way to truly rid a planet of Orks, and that is through Exterminatus. Now, let's talk about the only thing that Orks have even, Starcraft 2 has even remotely close to this. The Golden Armada. Okay, you have a bunch of golden ships in space, specifically designed to blow up planets. Okay, cool. Freebooters would look at this and go, shiny. We just gonna get that in, boss. And then they would immediately take over the Golden Armada, literally because it's just shiny. And there are enough of them to do it, too. So, you've already taken care of the fact that even if the Orks are pushed back on a planet, they wouldn't have really a means to completely get rid of them. A hilarious idea that was brought up a couple of times between me and my wonderful friend and co-host of podcasts, Geekus Theoreticus Asmogan, have brought up, is imagine Snakebite tribe Orks trying to tame Zerg. Yeah, that would actually be kind of funny. Gretchen riding around on Zerglings, Orks, or even war bosses riding around on the bigger Zerg, up to and including Ultralisks. That would actually be quite hilarious. That said, do I think there are any redeeming ways that the Koprulu sector could push back against the Orks? Well, no. So let's talk about each faction individually and what their speciality is and how exactly the Orks would just trample them underfoot. So first we have the Terrans. Because I want to start... Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to save the Terrans for last because that'll be funnier. Let's start with the Protoss then. They have all this amazing technology. All these amazing defenses. And then the Orks, who literally are a race of belief, and for this, I stick to Rendgo Fasta. Yeah, that would... What the Orks lack, quote-unquote, lack in technology, because their technology shouldn't realistically work, they make up for in brutal efficiency. So as far as the armor is concerned, one of the orcs' most favored of enemies is Astartes, because they put up a fight. So armor, check. When we're looking at melee damage, let's actually go to probably the only happy ending story in 40k, Tuska Demon Killer. He fought demons in hand-to-hand combat. And to this day still does on one of Khorne's planets. I don't remember which one, but he continuously fights demons in hand-to-hand combat. Now, I'm not saying this should be the standard for all orcs, but I am going to say that there are more than just cases of this, of where orcs can fight in melee combat exceptionally well. So you have, like I said, Tuska Demon Killer who fights in melee. So you have a Zealot coming up on the Orc, and yeah, they have the side blades, and yeah, they're deadly. The Zealot will probably take out 2, 3, 4 Orcs. What is he going to do about 5, 6, 20? It then comes down to a matter of numbers. And this is where Orcs will absolutely trounce the Koprulu sector. So you've got the Protoss taken care of. The Zerg. Now, with the Zerg, I see a couple of different things happening, both equally hilarious. One, you have the snake bites, and they break off just to focus on the Zerg to try and tame them, because orcs are special. Or, orcs have fought Tyranids to an almost scary level. And when I say to an almost scary level, I mean, like, pound for pound, the Tyranids are probably the scariest thing in 40k, honestly. Them are the Necrons, really. But the Orcs are just, they will throw every Orc they have at the Tyranids. So this is one where I think it'd be almost the same thing. And I really do believe that, because the Zerg so when it comes to Zerg versus Tyranid, the thing that gives the Zerg the edge is their evolutionary prowess. They are physically weaker, pound for pound, unit per unit. But where they evolve quicker when it comes down to lore, the Zerg would beat the Tyranids. But I think where the Orcs come in, the Zerg would lose to the Orcs. Only because A, there's a lot of them. B, they are much more physically strong. And C, I don't really know how they would evolve off of the Orcs. If they were to, that would be interesting. But because I have nothing to back that up on, that's not even going to be an argument. So because they wouldn't be able to evolve off the Orcs, I could see the Orcs winning. Now, half-orc Zerg creatures that just get really big and green and strong, that would be an interesting idea. Please, dear God, don't put that in my comment section. But I don't want to see artwork of that. That would be horrible. But realistically, so that being the case, you have the Zerg, and they would eventually be, I think they would eventually be overran too, just because, again, there's so many Orcs. And of course, back to the Protoss real quick, I already mentioned the Golden Armada, which I think the only thing in the Koprulu sector that even has a remote chance of getting all Orcs off of a planet, but that's because they essentially blew up the planet. Now we go to the Terrans. The Terrans actually have an interesting tactic they could use. Let's look at Korhal. They nuked the fucking planet. Yeah, they nuked a planet. Do I think that would even remotely stop the Orcs? No. And here's why. Let's look at the second and third wars for Armageddon. Armageddon was an industrial, highly polluted hellhole that even the Imperial Guard that lived there, kind of like Krieg almost. And I could see the Orcs fighting on Krieg, which would actually be a really interesting idea. But I don't really know if Armageddon is as bad off as Krieg, as far as, like, environmental conditions. But they were pretty fucking bad. So, On that note, I do think that even if they go to, if the planet gets nuked while they're on it, then yeah, they're going to be pretty fucked. But if they're on, say, Korhal, which is already a pre-nuked planet, it's not going to make a lick of difference to them. So, when put down to it, because of the Orcs' strength, numbers, how do I word this next part? Special system of belief, and also I want to bring something to light. I have literally just been talking about the Orc infantry as a whole. I haven't even gotten into their Gargants. I haven't gotten into their Killican. I haven't talked about any of their quote unquote mech units yet. Once you start throwing that in, all it does is throw the advantage even more in their favor. So, realistically, I see no hope in hell for the Koprulu sector, period. I really think that if you take the entire faction of orcs and just threw it at Koprulu, Koprulu would be green within probably a couple weeks, if not a week. Now, something that SpeakingMinds did ask me to do was go over the individual orc tribes and how they would do, and I was able to do that for, well, some of them. But I have a list pulled up, and some of them would essentially be the same. So let's start with actually the really easy two, which are the snake bites and the freebooters. The freebooters would essentially take care of anything out in space that looks shiny and or expensive. Now, this is also under the assumption that the orc faction, the orc tribes, and the entire orc faction is working together towards the singular goal of taking over the Koprulu sector. Not unheard of, but rare. There have been cases of orcs working together to fight a greater threat. So we're going to go under the assumption that all of them are working together with the mind of we're going to take over the sector and it will be home. And then they'll probably end up killing each other because orcs. So snake bites. Snake bites would probably be the Zerg specialist, quite frankly. Because they would, again, try and tame them because special. Yeah. And then we get to... let's see here. The Bad Moons and Blood Axes would essentially probably be doing essentially the same thing, which would be focusing on ranged combat. Blood Moons because they have flash kits, which are which at least in Dawn of War 2 were pretty fucking OP, and Dawn of War 1. They kind of have the mechs and they have the economy to really do whatever the hell they want. The Blood Axes are more of... They specialize in quote-unquote Umi warfare, which, camouflage, using more human tactics, stuff like that. So, really, when it comes down to that, I could see the Blood Axes kind of being almost guerrilla fighters. Death Skulls would be the ones probably behind the Blood Axes, or even the Evil Sons, looting everything. The Evil Sons would be your, again, guerrilla fighters, because Reddens go faster. And then you have your Goths. Now, your Goths would be probably like your frontline fighters. They are the biggest and strongest of the orcs, and they would do some fucking damage. Let's not lie about that one. So, realistically, that's how I think the clans would do, but this is also not my area of expertise, so take it all with a massive grain of salt. But, yeah, that is my interpretation on what it would look like if the entire faction of 40k Orks went to the Koprulu sector and decided to show them how to play. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed it or want to check out some of my other content, check out some of my other videos or playlists on the channel. If you would like to support the channel, you can always join Patreon or just, throw out a comment. Let me know what I can do to improve. Join the Discord. You can throw your suggestions there as well. But most importantly, I hope you all have a very, very wonderful day. I hope if you're going through something, it gets a lot better for you. I hope everyone finds that kind of good luck push they're looking for. And with all that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!